Okay, so for MYP1 here, some quick notes about percentages as the next chapter in the unit. I need you to pause the screen, write down the notes neatly by hand. So a percentage, that symbol there, means a fraction out of 100. So if you get 80% in a test, it means that you got 80 out of 100 or 80 out of every 100 correct. It doesn't necessarily mean that there are 100 questions and you got 80 questions right. It just means that proportionally you're getting 80 out of every 100 correct. So percentage just means out of 100. So converting 80% to a fraction, you say 80% is the same as 80 hundredths. Percentage just means out of 100. And 80 and 100 both have a common factor of 20. So they can both be divided by 20 to reduce 80 hundredths to 4/5. Now bear in mind there, you're not dividing by 20, but you're actually dividing by 20 20ths, which is the same as dividing by 1. If you divided it by 20, it would get smaller, but it's not getting smaller. 4/5 is the same as 80 hundredths. So you're not really dividing by 20, you're dividing by 1 in the form of 20 20ths. And when you divide something by 1, it stays the same size. And that's what's happening there. 4/5 is the same size as 80 hundredths. So as I said, getting 80% in a test means the same as getting 4/5 of it correct. Do write that down. Okay, so some examples here. Percentage to fraction. 72%. Well, 72% means 72 hundredths. And there's a common factor there of 4. So you can divide by 4/4, which is the same as just dividing by 1, and reduce that to 18 25ths. So the highest common factor of 72 and 100 is 4. So that's why you divide it by 4/4. We'll do more about highest common factors and how to find them in MYP2. Okay, percentage to a decimal. So 72% means the same as 72 divided by 100, because percentage just means out of every 100, and that's 0.72. And in fact, anytime you're converting a percent to a decimal, it's just a question of shifting the decimal point by 2 places, so from 72 to 0.72, because a percentage is just the same as dividing something by 100. Decimal to percent, well, same way around really. You say 0.42 is 42 hundredths, and 42 hundredths is the same as 42%, because percentage just means the same as out of 100. And again, you can see the pattern of the decimal just shifting 2 places. Okay, decimal to a fraction. So again, you can just say 0.42, well, that's 42 hundredths, but then we try and see if there's a common factor of 42 and 100, and there is. They both divide by 2, so you can reduce that to 21 50ths by dividing not by 2, but by 2/2. A fraction to a decimal and then to a percentage. So for example, 2/3, you need to remind yourself that the line in a fraction means that you're dividing. So 2/3 equals 2 divided by 3, which you can do by hand or by calculator. 2 divided by 3 is 0.6666666 recurring, and you can just put a little dot over the 6 to say that that's recurring or going on forever. And then converting that to a percentage, that's the same as 66.66666, but I've rounded it to 7%. So the decimal just shifted 2 places there from the decimal to the percentage, and I rounded it to 1 decimal place. 1 dp, 1 decimal place. So an easy rule there: to get from a decimal to a percentage, multiply by 100. To get from a percentage to a decimal, divide by 100. So some questions. Convert to percentage: 2/5, 3/8, 6/11, 5/9, 21/100. Where necessary, round your answers to 2 decimal places. Okay, so pause the screen, try those questions before you go on to look at the answers. So here are the answers. 2/5 means the same as 2 divided by 5, which is 0.4. Do that by hand or on a calculator. And 0.4, shifting the decimal 1, 2 places, is the same as 40 hundredths or 40%. Question 2. 3/8 means 3 divided by 8. The line in a fraction means divide. 3 divided by 8 is 0.375, which, shifting the decimal 2 places, is 37.5%. 6/11 means the same as 6 divided by 11, which is 0.545454 recurring. The dots over the top mean that the 5 and the 4 keep repeating. And shifting the decimal 2 places, that's the same as 54.54545454 recurring percent, which I've rounded to 54.55%. Question 4. 5/9 means the same as 5 divided by 9, which is 0.5555 recurring, dot over the top to indicate recurring. Shift the decimal 2 places, and that's the same as 55.55555555 recurring, which I've rounded to 55.56 to 2 decimal places. And finally, 21/50 means the same as 21 divided by 50, which is 0.42. Shift the decimal 2 places, that's 42%.